Well, I know it's more paranormal. The fact that you got a line from a book that hasn't been published yet, or that there's a famous New Jersey poet.
Hey everybody, do us a quick favor and hit follow and smash that like or subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. It'll help us keep getting great guests and make it so you don't miss the next episode. Now on with the show. Welcome to Splintered Spirits Live.
All right, we got some people. Hello, Kevin, James. Welcome, welcome. And who's here? Hello, Hale, Jacqueline. John is not with us today. Sorry if there was a little weird glitch there for a second. When I'm on the road, it's always strange. And I always feel like when I'm on the road, the whole broadcast should be more like, guys, it's very important. If you're seeing this now, there's trouble ahead, or I just need you to know, take this down, this code. They don't want you to have it. They don't want you to know about it. That's what it feels like when I do these things from a hotel room. It's like I'm Ed Snowden on the run. But that's not at all the case. Hello, Tammy. I think we're just on Facebook. We are on YouTube and TikTok today. So I'm glad everybody could be here and see. We've got a guest for you. What's up? What's up? Creepy Colorado. Hey, what's going on, Creepy Colorado? Creepy Colorado is a mother-daughter duo out there. They go ghost hunting together, which I find really interesting. Let's see. Okay, guys. Let me tell you about our guest today. They're sitting here waiting quietly, patiently. And they're a good one too. And we got a lot of good action coming up. Before I get to the guests, I want to tell you about a couple things. One, if you have not done so already, please, we invite you to take our Are You a Ghost Magnet survey. Go to our website, splinteredspirits.com/survey, and take it. This is going to be a peer-reviewed study. We just want anybody who's had any sort of power, even if you haven't had a paranormal experience, take it, because that's a good sort of basis and sort of a flat test for us to know for people compared to people who have had paranormal experiences. But we're working with Professor Brian Lath, who's done multiple books and studies on haunted people syndrome. And we've added a few questions of our own, things we want to know that speak to what we do here. And we really want the more people, the better. Okay. That's sort of the idea. So we hope you guys all go and take it. And by the way, also this, only take it once. If you take it multiple times and you get a different result, it doesn't matter. The first time you take it is the only time that's going to count for the study. He deletes every other duplicate, and we've had many, many duplicates. Because I'm sure if you've done it once and I'm sure there's people out there who do it and go, hey, I thought I was haunted. Let me take it again and change my answer. Now I'm a haunted person. You're not. You're just lying to yourself and you're wasting our time. But go have fun. Be honest. It takes you 5 minutes to do, and we would appreciate it. This is a legit, real study for us. So thank you so much. The second thing is, new episode on Tuesday. I go and do a tour of the Oman House out in LA. If you don't know what the Oman House is, it's on Cilento Drive. If you don't know what Cilento Drive is, well, we're about to hit, I think it's something like, correct my math, but it's the anniversary it's an anniversary coming up of the Manson murders. It's where Sharon Tate was killed, Jay Sebring. Not at the Oman House, at the house down the street, but his house is, according to David, very haunted by Sharon Tate's ghosts, Jay Sebring's ghost, and a few others. It's kind of like a low rent version of Cribs, watching me with my selfie stick walk around this house. And David is amazing. David Oman, who owns it. It's absolutely hilarious and fun, and his stories are incredible. And it was a really good time. And for me to walk through it had a little bit of a creep factor, because there are moments where you sort of feel a different vibe in that house. But that's going to be on Tuesday. And next week, last bit of business before we get to our guest, next week we are not live. but we have a very special episode with a few great guests that if you guys are in this paranormal world on TikTok and social media, there's been a lot of ugliness and bullying going on. And I talked to three women who are like at the heart and the center of it, and they are quick to call out bullies um, where they see it all the time. So I was very curious because they're incredibly passionate about defending the paranormal from people. So I interview them and we hear them. We had a really good time. And even though I don't agree with them on every sort of stance they take as it comes to like the type of paranormal investigating they like, I do agree with them 100% on being respectful towards people. And there's no need to say certain things to certain people and call people that. So that's a very fun one. So that's going to be next Tuesday. Premieres when the live is going to premiere instead of the live. So check it out. Now, on to our guest. Let me tell you guys about who we got today. Sitting in our waiting room is Cara Cilento from Nine Lives Paranormal. Nine Lives Paranormal is an investigative team. They do a lot of haunted history, and through careful research, they've come together and create strange stories to sort of grow our education about the paranormal, right? They've also turned their passion for ghost hunting and haunted locations and experiences. They've written books, they hold workshops, and they created The Hollow, which is a big Paracon and film festival out in Stockton University in New Jersey, where our boy, John Santa, is going to be speaking on August 22nd. So if you are in that area and you haven't seen it or heard of it, we will have a link to this in the link tree in our bio right after, but it is at thehollow nj.com. You can get your tickets to it. I'm really fascinated how these guys came together, how they started this team, why they started a Paracon, and, put another tile in the mosaic to figure out, what spirits are and what they've learned. Anybody who starts something like this and wants to educate, I'm always a fan of. So, but anyway, let's bring out Cara. There she is.
Hi.
Cara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just like running through a lot of, as I told you, I'm on the road. I've got now my tiny screen. When I'm doing my podcast normally, I've got like a giant screen. I can see everything. I've got like all these tabs open and I can work it. And I even have like a teleprompter so I can look at the camera and the screen so I can see what's happening. Here, I've got this makeshift business where I've got to look down. So I'm not trying to ignore you and be rude. I'm actually looking at a screen to see, because we are live. People do like to chime in with the chat. And chat, listen, cut me some slack. If I don't get to you right away and you ask a question, don't get all like, pissy about it. Grow up. We'll get to you in a minute. But Cara, thank you for being here with us, with me, with Splintered Spirits today. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me. I love it.
Cara, is Gail joining you? Is she going to be around later? Is she going to hop in?
Yeah, she's gonna hop in. She gets out of work at 7, so she's gonna when she gets in, she's gonna come right down to the lair here.
Got it. All right, the lair.
The
The
lair.
Nine Lives lair. All right. Well, let's.
Yeah.
I want to get a little basic. Sometimes and I want to get to your backstory a little bit, which
Sure.
some people get bored with in terms of interviews. But hopefully, we don't bore you here. But I'm very curious about your evolution into creating an entire sort of education system behind it, with the Hollow and awareness and all of that. So take me back to the beginning. What first drew you to both the paranormal and horror? Or was it one and the same? Did one come first? What was that thing, that spark?
All right. Well, it's a lot actually. So I grew up in North Jersey, right? So go figure. I grew up in an Italian American household, right?
Sure.
So
As did we all.
I grew up as did right. So I grew up, huh?
We did.
Yeah.
John and I are both the same. Yeah.
Exactly. So then you understand. So you grew up with the Italian traditions and all the superstitions and
Oh yeah.
all that stuff. So growing up in that, right? My family kind of just masked it and they said that it was, tradition and stuff. They didn't tell me that it was really stregaria, which is the Italian witchcraft, right? So I grew up in a culture of it, not realizing I would grow up in a culture of it.
Right.
And then I also grew up. I said, I'm in North Jersey. I live 2 miles down the road from Overbrook Asylum, which is now defunct, and they knocked down and they made into condominiums. However, I grew
Ooh.
up in its footprint and going in there and being in a haunted abandoned asylum. It's like where the kids used to hang out or whatever. So
Is
we
that like
used
where
to,
you was? Are you talking about like that's where you go after school, like have like sneak drinks and stuff in
yeah,
high
yeah,
school or
yeah, yeah,
something? All right,
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
Everyone's hanging out at the asylum, on
Everyone's
Friday
hanging
night.
out in the asylum, right?
Right.
That's exactly it.
Classic.
They're gonna be so anyway.
So
So
Jersey.
so that's how I grew up. I grew up in a culture of being around, paranormal lore and witchcraft. So as I grew older, I my I wanted to be more into my culture, of where I came from. And I started doing a deep dive into the stregaria and the folklore
Ooh,
and
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
that. And I said, and being also, going into haunted places, I was like, okay, so, this is like a thing. Like there are people that do this. So then got involved and I started going on investigations and learning how to do it and all that. And, just like you were alluding to before, I saw the community, but I also saw part of the bullying and stuff that you were talking about, and in some places a lack of ethics. So the people that go in and they scream demon all the time, or they go in and they taunt. And I said, what, there's a way to educate people and try and do this in a way so that people aren't turned off either by the stigma that's around it, and there's a way to do this so that you're bringing everybody together, and for a common goal, which is why, I started the Paracon. Now, the horror just happened to be a bonus. My very first movie that I ever saw that was a horror movie was Jaws.
Well, me
I,
too.
wasn't
Listen,
you?
can I just tell you, John's mother took me to see Jaws when I was like 4. It
Yes.
has terrified. It is to this dude. The ocean is monster soup. I cannot. I hate it. I will not go in it. And she ruined me. She ruined
Yeah.
me. 100%.
And it sucks, and it sucks living by the by the Jersey Shore, because and
No
now
way,
and now
dude. No way, Cara. It's the worst. It's
and
monster soup.
now they're showing, now I don't know if you're watching any of the news up here, but they're showing like the tiger sharks that they're catching down in like Monmouth County. And I was like, I told you. I
Yes, they're
was like,
always there.
I
Listen,
told
they're
you.
always there. They're always in the water. Def
Yeah,
2
they
never
are.
saw Jaws. I mean, I don't know how you would have been living in a cave. I'm just looking at the chat, chiming it out. Hey, Gail, how are you? So, all right, let's take a step back though, real quick. So now that Gail's here, because this is perfect, but we'll get back. We'll get back to the con for sure. So
All right.
now I take it you grew up Catholic as well.
Correct.
All right. So was there, when you started playing around in this space, was there a hard time, from family, friends, in that respect, because of what we're
Oh,
talking about?
yeah. Well, my parents realized that they made a weird kid. So they sent me to Catholic school. And that's where I first was yelled at by the. I got to turn this so I can get Gail in and all that. Wait. There we go. All right. So there we go. Okay. So anyway, so that was the first time that I was told that I couldn't put the Italian horn, the gornagil, next to the crucifix because that was pagan. But in my So I had to separate them. So I had like one of those, 1980s best friend charms in between, so that the gold. Remember, we had all the gold
that. Now
charms.
you're safe.
All right. So yeah.
Now
So
you're
that
safe.
was it. I was safe. The nun sister Fran didn't, beat me with the ruler after that.
Right.
So I was good. High hair, that was another thing. But yeah. So at any rate, yeah, that was a conflict. So more though from school, because at school, like at home, I didn't say anything because my mother, she was like, "Get that shit out of, oh, can I curse? Get that stuff out
Yeah.
of my house," you know, and
Sure.
she didn't want to hear it. But at school, my friends knew. So, we all kind of did it together. We all kind of like would do it together between tarot cards and all that. Yeah, we did.
Oh my god. Now, Gail, what about yourself? The question I asked Cara earlier was, what was the driving force for you in the paranormal, and then how did then you two eventually come together? Was it the paranormal that brought you together? Was it horror that brought you together, or how did you guys meet based on that?
All right, so in Missouri, there's a high level of strangeness. The Missouri Ozarks are steeped in folklore. We have Missouri Howler, the Hornet Spook Lights. That's what we did for entertainment in my house. We would all load up in the car and go drive out in this desolate road and look at this light that would appear at the end of the road and change color. And that was normal for my family. So I met Cara online and we shared a love of all things spooky. And I ended up moving here and found out that New Jersey is just as weird, if not more, than Missouri. And so
That's
we
saying a
went,
lot. That's saying a lot, though, isn't it?
I
I
know.
mean, it's like,
One of the first things we did was we went on a paranormal investigation together. And so we kind of decided, this is awesome. Why can't we do this ourselves and kind of put our own spin on it? And
well, wait, how did you
so
meet? How did you meet? Was it like a sign up sheet somewhere? Like, want to go on a paranormal investigation? And then you signed up, and then you signed up, and then you went there, and then you guys met each other? Or was it like, how did you know
uh,
each other?
so you want me to go ahead and get okay. We met on a dating website.
She's
Oh,
my
okay,
wife.
gotcha. Yes, I know that. That's why I'm asking that. It's like I wanted to know how you. No, that's why I'm asking.
Oh,
Like,
you want to get into? Oh, you want to
Okay.
get into the nitty gritty?
I look
Okay.
like. Listen, here's what I find this fascinating with in this paranormal space when especially when there's a couple, because it's always like, was that a secret part? When did that come out that you like went on ghost hunts? Did it come out during the dating phase, or did it come out after you already hooked them? And
Totally during we were still talking, like texting each other. And I think like so my comforter was skulls.
Oh yeah.
And so she noticed it right away. And I was like, hey, so I like horror movies and I love all the ghost shows. And so we bonded immediately. And then when I came down to visit before I moved, well, actually, it was right after I moved. We went on a ghost hunt together at Mid Orange Correctional Facility. And then, one thing led to another. We got married in the middle of a
right.
pandemic.
Oh,
And then we decided that we wanted to do this, together and put our own spin on it. And many of the places that we would go, weirdly, we would see ghost cats. Like, I went to the Conjuring house before it all went to crap. And I was in the driveway and I looked down and I saw this cat. It was very clear. It was a calico cat. I saw it. It was maybe a foot away from me. I turned back to make sure everyone that we were leading that night is parking appropriately. Turned back, cat's gone. And there's nowhere for it to go. And another time we were at the Shanley Hotel. We feel a cat jump up on the bed and start, making biscuits. There's no cat. So that led to, what are we going to be as a group? We're going to be Nine Lives Paranormal.
I like it. I like it. And I take it that, yeah, that sounds like an experience that would have kept you going. Well, that's certainly the experience that started it. Has there been a specific story or experience now, once you started going together, that really locked it in for you both, that said, oh, like you both shared it and you're like, this
I know
is, you know what I mean? Like, this is what we're doing. This is our thing now. Can you share that story?
You do it.
Well, I know what she's gonna say. She's gonna talk about Pennhurst Asylum, and when she had her, crap your pants moment. It was a crazy night there. We were working for another event company at the time before Nine Lives formed. Uh, and it had been a crazy I had actually been there, beforehand, the night before, and we were all sitting at the time, it's different now, they've kinda revamped it, but at the time, in the Mayflower building, there was this little place you could go with this little space heater, and we're all, trying to stay warm. And it sounded upstairs like someone dropped about a 30-pound dumbbell on the floor. So much so that the paint fell off the ceiling. We all ran up, nothing. And King is said to be on that floor, the spirit they call King. And so then Cara was there the following evening, and so she wanted to see what it was all about. And she marched up the stairs by herself.
Yep.
And I'll let you take it from there.
So
It's a
I'm
bad-
marching up the stairs.
Bad move, Cara. Bad move.
Yeah, I know. I broke, cardinal sin number 1. Don't go anywhere by yourself. So
Yeah.
I'm walking up the stairs and I'm like, it feels like I'm walking through warm jello. And I was getting this resistance, right? And I was like, I know I'm not, this out of shape that I can't make these stairs. I know that. So I'm going up the stairs. There's about 3 flights. And I go to the top floor where there's like the dormitory kind of area, and I turn the corner and I see this shadow figure slither across the ceiling
Oh,
and go off into one of the rooms. When I tell you I
no.
had an out of body experience, it was like I saw its face and I kept saying, I don't know if that's what it implanted in my head to see or that's what I saw, because I
Okay.
was distinctly remember almost not being present, if that makes sense. And I was so terrified of what it was that my blood pressure raised, my pulse raced. I was clammy. I went downstairs and they took.
She stumbled back
I
down the
stu-
stairs. She was pale.
Yeah,
We had to
Yeah.
take her outside.
yeah,
This is all
get
normal
her-
response to seeing a black
Yeah.
apparition slither across the ceiling. There's
yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
That's completely normal, I think, behavior for this.
Yeah, right.
And so yeah, for me, I was like, oh, why couldn't it have been me? I wanted to see that. And then she recovered quickly. And then later on in the evening, what I'm gonna say,
Mhm.
we went down to the place where they would do, what do they call it, the infirmary.
Mhm.
We went down to the infirmary, which I don't even think they let you go down there now. I think they may have actually torn it down. But you had to follow this like path, and it was, oh god, it was so miserable that night. It was rainy and cold. And we had a group of about 35. So, it was like herding cats trying to keep everybody together walking down this path. And I round the corner and a group has splintered off and they're playing with something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? I walk over and they're playing with frog that they'd caught. And I look because I'm going to reprimand, everybody needs to stay together. And it's my wife playing with the frog.
I've got a big old bullfrog.
They're taking pictures with the frog. The frog has now become the focal point of the evening. And so I thought to myself at that moment, yes, we're going to do this. And I absolutely have to do it too, because she cannot do it alone.
Because ADHD.
Fair enough. ADHD is a common. I'm finding more and more people that say they have ADHD and they have heightened experience. What kind of investigators are you guys? How do you, do you show up with big Pelican cases full of gear? Do you just have a couple things? What is your process?
I'll address the gear first because I'm kind of the tech and she's more the touchy-feely.
Sensitive.
Yeah. We initially started out, we actually did a lecture series called Ghost Hunting on a Budget. About, you need your body, a flashlight, and your phone. But of course, when we started taking bigger groups, we got all the tech. But I was lucky enough to meet a gentleman who was on Etsy, and he had built a piece of equipment that I was very interested in, but some aspects of it I didn't like. So I took a chance and I emailed him directly, and we started a conversation and we developed a friendship, and so we started collaborating. And so now, if I can think it, he can build it. So recently we've sort of transitioned into using all equipment through him, and his stuff is very bare bones, no fancy
Doesn't look
3D
glamorous at
cases.
all.
So I've gone from 2 suitcases to a little case about like this because all of his stuff is so portable. But
What
as
is it?
far as
What is your gear? What are you
so we
checking?
have it's stuff that you know I'll compare it to other things. We have a thing called the Uno. It's a chip. It's about
Size of your thumb.
size of the upper part of your thumbnail. Teeny tiny little chip. And it has about 1,000-word database, and it will cycle through words. You know, it's all about timing and relevance. It will pick up on spikes in radio and EMF waves to have it generate a word. But like I always tell people, just because a word pops up, obviously it doesn't mean it's a spirit. It's all about timing and relevance. So we had a lady
Wait.
very recently.
Hold on one second. I like this. I like what you're saying. It's all about timing and relevance. So are you elaborate just on that a bit for me? Because I
Okay.
mean, because I guess the word I use when I talk about it is there's only so many times it can be a coincidence, right? I say the word coincidence a lot. And
Correct.
I think I use it in the same way that you're saying timing and relevance. So what,
Absolutely.
right? What does that mean? It's just is it also frequency, and not in the frequency of like what radio station we're on? I mean frequency as in the amount of times. Is that also a factor in? Is that what you can you just elaborate on that for me for a second?
Sure. So if I have advice and I say, what color shirt do I have on? And, within a reasonable amount of seconds, the word gray pops up. Okay. So, that's timing and relevance. And if we get 2 or 3 more of those correct and relevant answers, even better. But if I say, what's my shirt? And it says duck, it's just cycling through its words and it picked up something, some radio signal in it, and it caused it to pop up a word. So we use that. We also have it's a television that does a very similar thing. It's one of those plastic, like you used to get when you were a kid with the antenna, and you get like the
Sure.
2 UHF stations.
Yeah, yeah.
Only the inside has been gutted, and it's a screen that again has a database. Words will pop up. Same thing, timing and relevance. I just came up with the idea, and he just built it, and I beta tested it to make sure that it was going to work the way I wanted it. It is a ghost radar. So we had a couple pieces of equipment, and we got too many false positives. So I asked him if he could find a small, like, actual radar chip, and he's in Italy, by the way. So it took him a little bit of time, but he found one. And it's very bare bones. We couldn't put it in a 3D printed case if we want to because it gets super hot, i.e., microwave. So my question was, will it pick up a spirit because the spirit doesn't have mass? Can this thing that bounces radio waves off pick up a spirit? So we used it at a place we love to go. It's a convent tattoo parlor in Deptford. So we put it in a room. No one else was in the room. They had a dinosaur sitting on the tattoo chair. No one was around it, but I guess in the past, they set this dinosaur up and it ends up on the floor. So, no one was nearby. No one was walking up and down the hall. We hear the crash, and it has a remote screen that you can monitor what the radar is seeing. Heard the crash, maybe a half second later, it's detected an anomaly that was moving back and forth, and then it disappeared.
Oh, that's
So,
super cool. Do you have video of that somewhere? Like on a channel?
uh,
Like, did you ever record it?
that one we didn't record, but yes, we've got video of so many things.
That's cool. I'd like to see that. I'm gonna go check that out. I'd like to see how that works.
Absolutely. We've got. I mean, I don't want to take up all your time talking about all this stuff. We have a portal finder.
Gail, what do you think we're here for? We're here to talk. What do you think we're
The
doing here?
portal finder.
We're here to talk about this shit. Like, what do you think we're doing? We're here to talk about
Well,
ghosts.
I didn't want to like monopolize.
No, you're fine. Talk about you.
But the portal finder is a program, and it uses standard GPS along with what's called the LoRa network. So this network can keep track of land anomalies, whether it be places that are prone to volcanic activity, places that have a higher than normal radiation in the ground water or in the ground soil. It can pick up. I mean, it can pick up like droughts, landslides.
Okay.
So
Is that for
it
you to rule
focuses
shit out?
on-
Is that for you to rule stuff out?
Well, no, it's so we focused on places that have a higher than normal radiation, places that have just anomalies. Because if this network picks up something in the land and it can't readily identify it, it comes up as an error message. So we also programmed it to focus on these error messages because something's there, but we don't know what it is. So it will map your position out on the GPS. Then you press a button that says find portals, and it will connect to the LoRa network and find in your vicinity structural issues in the land that shouldn't be there. Now, we don't focus on things like drought or landslide. Those aren't part of our program that it's focusing on. But I've heard, like, one of our investigators said that she frequently takes a Geiger counter along. So we thought, we'll focus on radiation. We'll focus on higher EMF, like EMF in the middle of the forest where there shouldn't be EMF, or just these error messages where there's an anomaly, but I can't figure out what anomaly it is. And so, yeah, again, are these thinning of the veil? Is it a portal?
Right.
Who knows? But it's
I like it.
something that shouldn't be there. And so it gives you a place to start, to go to these places, and it will plot it within, I think, like a 15-mile area.
Yeah.
So it's going to be places that are close to you. I mean, of course, if you move, it's going to plot other places.
Right.
That's wild.
And
Gail, and that's wild. I mean, Gail, are you keeping track of this data, of this unique data that you're collecting and using when on your
yes.
like for your? So
Yes,
that's a bit,
we actually
because you're
just
really
got-
using some of the most unique stuff I've ever heard described. So it's kind of
And
an
that's the
interesting
whole
data
idea.
center. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. So yeah, well, we actually just got the portal, and I've just really started to beta test it.
it'll even give you the longitude and the latitude of where it is, and it'll tell you how to get there if you press on it from
Correct.
where you are.
Right.
Like
Once
a
it
GPS.
once it identifies an anomaly, and it will tell you the strength of the anomaly.
Yep.
And so if you say a 3 is the most, concentrated anomaly, and you press on it, it will tell you the longitude and latitude, and then it will draw out on the map how to get there.
Yeah, like a storm chaser, like a tornado chaser, or something.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Exactly.
So
And now-
that's a
and
great
then-
comparison, because you're
I know.
looking
Listen,
for
listen. It's a gift. It's a gift to come up with these things.
you're
Ca-
looking for, storm chasers don't always know where there's going to be a tornado, but you're looking for conditions that are favorable.
Sure.
Same thing. We're
Got it.
searching for conditions that are favorable for there to possibly be a thinning of the veil and a portal.
Now,
let's see what else.
and Cara, for you, what is that? What is it now? Are you a little more woo woo about it then? If Gail's more tech and really data driven, are you there? Like, what's interesting? You use that description of Jello, and John has used that description many times about feeling like he's in Jello when he's in a hot spot.
Right.
What is your take? How do you approach the scene?
Well, I get physically affected when I'm around things. Like I joke and I say that, like, I'm the bait. Like I will go and like like if I'm standing in a room, I'll go, nope, not here. Nope, nope, not here. Because I will get a physical sensation. So, like I said, warm Jello. That is the most that's not the most extreme. When I glitched out, that was the most extreme. I would say that's the second most extreme. Usually I will get pins and needles, or I feel like electricity running, and the hair will stand up on my arms, that that something is there. I have gotten panic attacks and felt physically ill. The biggest one I think that I got was somebody. I was in an antique store that we do investigations at frequently, and took a guitar and she put it in my hands. Like, I thought she was just handing it to me to say, "Here, hold this." Right? So she hands it to me and she goes, "What do you get from that?" I glitched out. Like, there was like I can't even explain to you.
What does
It
that mean?
was
Like, yeah, when you say you got to describe what a glitched out means. Did you have like an epileptic fit, or did you just like did your eyes roll back in your head? Like, what does it mean to glitch out?
she saw it. So
She went someplace else and she just went, I, this, I. She was not making any sense.
yeah.
Got it. All
Um
right.
and it turned out that the two previous owners that owned the guitar had unalived themselves. And so the original owner was an uncle, and he unalived himself, and then he passed it on to his nephew, who then subsequently unalived themselves. And the aunt who now had it was cleaning everything out and sent it to the antique what
Antique store.
sent it to the antique store. So I'll get a physical
Got it.
reaction.
Mm.
Okay.
Places, things, I'll say, don't touch that. Don't want
Well,
to touch. Don't.
well, you clearly make a good team based on this,
Yeah,
right? It's
we
certainly the
balance
one.
each other out.
Yeah, you're like the Wonder Twins. What is the you know, so you have a big approach. I can tell by the age you're going to get that reference. I don't know how many people on this chat are going to know it or live, but
Oh, I got it.
you
Yeah,
got it right away.
It's like
Um,
Wonder Twin power.
yeah,
I was waiting
For a minute, I
yeah.
thought she was gonna hit me though, and I'm like, what the?
So with Nine Lives too, you have a big approach with history and research.
correct.
How do you both decide what deserves further investigation versus what may have just been what might just have a conventional explanation?
Oh, I think everything deserves an investigation because I want to see for myself. We frequently we've kind of cut our teeth on going to places that kind of call to Cara. We'll just drive around and we'll see a building, and she's like, "Yeah, there's something about that place." So we'll just go in and introduce ourselves and say, "Hey, has anything strange ever happened here?" And 9 times out of 10, they have a story. And so we talk to them for a while and we end up investigating. That's kind of how it happened with the antique store. And then she told us about the Elks Lodge in Booton, and we went and talked to them, and they had so many stories. And Kara's like, "Yeah, there's something here, something up there in the balcony." And they go, "Oh, yes, yes, let us tell you about the balcony." So, I know that there are the places that are tried and true, and we love to go to those places, but we try to sort of make our own road. And it's twofold because we're getting to investigate places that have never been investigated before, and we're also helping these places. When we bring groups through, the proceeds will go to the organization or the building or the business for them to help with the upkeep of their historical building.
Do you then do you go after if it's a blind knock and you
Mhm.
get in there and then you start investigating, do you then go and do some deep dive research? Do you go to like the
Yeah.
city records off? No shit. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And
What
we
is that?
have sort of friends that we have made along the way. There's a young lady named Kim, and she is like she's like a guru. She will go through the archives, the city records. I mean, the things that she has found out for us, it's incredible. But yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. First, you get the story from the person, and then you go and you see what you can find, at the local historical society or the local hall of records, and see if those stories match up.
Can you give me?
And then
Can you point to an example? Give me an example of one time where you made a discovery or you heard a voice or you saw something in an investigation, and then when you looked it up, it corroborated that.
So we were at the antique parlor, the antique shop, and we were doing a group investigation. We're all sitting around, um, and over one of our devices, we got the name. What's her name?
Oh, Millie.
Millie. We got the name Millie. And
Minnie. I'm sorry. Minnie.
Minnie. So we got the name Minnie, and nobody knew who Minnie was. And then one of the ladies said, "Wait a second. There was a lady who lived here in Denville. Her name was Minnie, and she lived to be like 105 years old, and she was, celebrated here in town. And, I think she might have lived around here." So we go do a deep dive, and yes, she lived literally right in back of where the antique shop was. The antique shop was a beauty parlor at the time, and that's where Minnie used to get her hair done. So yeah,
Oh.
it all like fell into place. And then maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, out of nowhere, Minnie's family comes in with a bunch of her antiques and gives them to Laurel on consignment.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere. And I mean, talk about a coincidence. And I said, I think that Minnie wanted her things here.
Yep.
That's terrifying and cool at the same time.
It was so cool. I love it when things like that happen.
That
Because
is
how do you
cool. That
how
is
do you
a great
explain that?
story. That is a great story.
And then we did another investigation. Actually, we just you'll see it because it was just for on Hunt. It's going to be on Haunted Tri-State if they
great.
decide to put if they decide to put the clip in. But we went to a theater, and we were doing actually EVP session, and we were doing the spirit box, with the radio waves or whatever.
Sure.
And so, of course, I take all the data, and I take all the data home because I recorded it, and I clean it up and take all the background out or whatever, and just isolate the voices. And we hear a line in it that says something like, "We must not forget the summer," or something like that. It was long. It was super long. And I'm like, "We must not forget the summer." Like, what in the world? So we did a deep dive because the place was named after a famous poet from New Jersey. And it
He's a
turns
famous
out,
poet from New Jersey?
yes, believe it or not.
Shit. Who is it?
We can't tell you because the episode hasn't dropped yet.
All right. All
But
right.
yeah, it's a famous poet, but it wasn't Joe Pesci. It was not him. No, because
Yeah.
he's a linguist. But anyway, so it came out. We must not forget the summer. I don't know, something like that. It was super long. I know nothing about it, so we research it, and it turns out that was the line of one of his poems that is still copyrighted and not released yet, because it's still under copyright law.
So nobody else would know.
Nobody else would know that line.
How did you find out
and
about that line? How did you find out about the line? The
Because
news?
we found
Or-
the book
Oh,
that
you
it's
I see.
in.
Got
We
it.
found the book.
That's
Book that
wild.
it is.
That's wild. That's very cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And we had access to things that people didn't have because this poet's granddaughter. We actually got to meet her, and she was a plethora of information and had all these things that we could look through. So yeah, that was a really good one.
Well, I know it's more paranormal. The fact that you got a line from a book that hasn't been published yet, or that there's a famous New Jersey poet floating
And
around.
they're both.
What's more
both high
supernatural?
strange. But yes,
Um,
both high stranges.
all right, so you have this passion for ghost hunting. You guys got together. You started investigating. It sounds like then you start. When did you start doing workshops? And
The natural progression of things.
that was just something
I'm-
like you really to teach other people, or was it like you liked going in these groups, or what was the vibe?
Well, she's a teacher. She's a speech
Well, there it
pathologist.
is. Got it. Okay.
I just enjoy the sound of my own voice. So it was sort of natural to us to do lectures and sort of do a lecture series. And we also wanted to let people know, like you asked earlier, how we investigate, to and we've all heard it before, but be respectful to the spirits, do your homework, do your due diligence, um, protect yourself. So we had, we started out with sort of a, for lack of a better term, and I know everybody out there is going to go, oh God, not another one, but it was sort of a ghost hunting 101. That was way back. It was the first thing we kind of started out with. Um, and then that kind of turned into us writing 2 books. The first book about our investigations and the things that we personally took away, and then the second one, we did a lecture series about spiritualist movement
Mm-hmm.
and how that movement affected the authors of the Victorian era of that time, how that influenced them. And so we wrote a book about that called The Pen and the Planchette.
Yeah. And then like our lectures that we do, they kind of are born out of our experiences. So for example, we will do, when we get asked a lot, what do you do for protection? Right. So, we started doing deep dives into protection methods, not only, conventional ones, but like drawing onto, my culture and what, the Gornajil and things like that from different cultures and different religions and started explaining that, protection doesn't just have to be one way. Protection is whatever makes you feel safe and feel whole, when you're going into, an environment, because we have come across, spirits and entities that are, not of, one religion or the other. Like where, what do you do with an elemental? What do you do with a jinn? What do you do with what do you do with things from other religions?
I know a gin you put back in the bottle,
Yeah,
right?
I did. Yeah, right. So what do you do, with Fae? What do you do with these things? And it's always been my opinion that for every entity, if you that's even if you need protection, because 9 times out of 10 you don't, you just have to be grounded. But not every entity is going to respond. You're speaking a different language, than what it understands. Something that is conjured is not going to respond to a traditional method of protection or whatever. So
Let me
yeah.
let me ask you. Let me just interrupt you real quick. Who are your inspirations for investigation? Like, what school do you come out of? I thought, and here's why I ask it too, because I've talked to many generations of ghost hunters and ghost investigators, and they
Right.
all hate the next one. There's a lot of
Right.
get off my lawn business that goes on from if they're the guys from 50 years ago hate, the ghost hunters, the taps guys. They think they ruined it.
Right.
The most, and I'm not saying the taps guys hate the next generation, but that generation of ghost hunter, that legacy paranormal TV stuff when it first started, they hate the YouTubers who are out
Right.
there like running around doing their thing. Um, I love all of it. I really do. And I don't see any downside to any of it. So
Right.
what is your school of thought? What was your inspiration? And what did you take from it? What have you added on to it? And throughout your course of investigating, have you rejected anything that you've seen?
Let me go first.
Yeah, you go first. We might overlap. So
Yeah, well, my source of inspiration is Cara. Um,
Oh,
so we, I grew up watching all the shows. I remember when Taps was the only game in town, and I was fascinated by their methods and the fact that they didn't always find something. But things progress and change, and we've gone from the folks that were on TV to now, influencers that do their own thing. And y- you know, we started this to forge our own path and do our own thing and try to do it in a way that was uniquely us. So I think, you know, I was lucky enough to be able to work for an event company early on, so I learned about all these amazing places, and I learned, what goes on behind the scenes and what to do and what not to do. And I drug Carol along to a lot of the investigations with me. And so we kind of honed our crafts together and are like-minded. So I don't fall in one camp or another. I think everybody had their place and has their place in history. Everything progresses, and you may not agree with the way somebody does an investigation. That doesn't mean they're wrong or it's bad. The only thing I don't like is when people are disrespectful. Um, People tend to forget that we are investigating people who were once alive, and they should be given reverence. Their loved ones, sisters, brothers, mothers, aunts, uncles, friends, loved ones that should be given respect and not called out and not cursed at and not come at me, bro. Other than that, I think everybody has contributed to this field, and I think we should all learn to have grace for that. We all do things our own way, and that's okay. It's okay to do things your own way.
Cara, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes and no. I think that with myself, it's like, I'm more of a, I think, well, speaking for both of us, I think we're more purists. When it comes to doing investigation, where we believe that, our best tool is ourselves, that, genetically we have a lot of ability that we have evolved out of, so to speak. I mean, when we were running around as hunter and gatherers, the hair would stand up on the back of our neck to keep us from getting eaten by a big ass lion or whatever,
Right.
so when things in the environment are off, we are
Your body will
preloaded.
tell you.
Yeah, our body would tell us. So, um,
But now because we don't have to worry about being eaten, we say it's just our imagination.
it's just your imagination.
But it's not. It's your body telling you that something in the environment isn't right.
Yeah. And so, and I agree with Gail. I think everything, nothing is static. Okay. Everything changes. So, in the beginning, if the people like Hans Holder didn't do what he did, then we wouldn't have the next generation and the next generation and the next generation and keep on moving forward. And
Right. Each generation builds on the next. And you might not agree with Hans Holzer
Right.
or Ed and Lorraine Warren. You might not agree with what they did, but they paved the way for the next generation to do a little bit more. And
Right.
know?
If we didn't have those predecessors, whether we agree with them or we don't agree with them, let's say we don't agree with them, we wouldn't have the curiosity to build a piece of an equipment to try and make it better and perfect it.
Right.
So it's like we have to thank our predecessors in a weird way for being flawed in their ways of doing things, so that we progress and we can make it better, not insult it. Say, yeah, hey, thank you for the clue, but now I'm
Well,
going to do it this way now.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I haven't done a study on this, but having been a producer and having run a studio that had done these shows, I think
Right.
what a lot of the audience forgets is, or does not factor into what they're seeing on these shows, is what the audience is delivering and what they respond to. When, as you
Right.
pointed out, when Ghost Hunters came out, there was nothing else, and they could do episodes where nothing happened. They didn't find anything, and then now that's what everyone was set, right? That was their first show, and they're like, "Wow, that's really doing it." But as we get more channels and more shows, and the audience starts to want to see more action, and their attention span starts to dwindle, the show has to change. I don't think that's necessarily the investigators changing. I think that's the
Right.
demand by the audience that's changing. So now
Right.
so then your nostalgia for like, well, these guys never show the real thing. And it's like, they don't show the real thing because no one's going to watch the real thing. I hate to say it. The people who are going to be this big. And if they want to make a living doing it and have a show, they got to evolve and do something different. That doesn't mean that what they're doing is wrong. That just means they have to pay their rent like every other fucking person out there that has to do it. And you judging them for that and not understanding how the business works side of things isn't a knock on the investigator. That's the knock on just the way the world works. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And I don't think so.
Absolutely.
I think
we're all about instant gratification right now.
yes.
You know,
So I think there's a lot.
There's
There's too many creators who take a lot of shit and a lot of heat for playing the game, which is like, creating content that fits the medium. But that doesn't mean they're bad investigators. That means they're just showing you. They're editing it and showing you what you want to see. And I don't mean you. You know what I mean? I mean like the royal you.
Yeah. You, the audience, right?
Because
but anyway,
there's also
yeah.
two different categories there. You're looking at investigations as entertainment, and I'm not saying entertainment, i.e. fake your evidence, but maybe something shows up on your
a little bit more
on your spirit box and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, this has got, it's investigation for entertainment. And then there's folks who do investigations, and we have done these too, in-house, for someone who calls us and says, hey, my house is haunted, I need some help. So that's your serious, no charge, go in with your stuff and help these people figure out what's going on. And then you have sort of the in-between where you have people taking groups out for an investigation, and there's a fee, and that is getting demonized, saying, ghost hunting, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't make money, but people, it's a multi-million-dollar industry, we're not the ones to
that's
ask
dumb.
for.
That's just like, I don't have time for those. I mean, that's just dumb. That's not an argument. And yes, of course, if you're fully faking and lying, that's a whole other thing, right? I mean, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking, it's like, look, if you ever watch John's lives and he does the Estes method on his lives, when he does that, when he's in the chair, he is extraordinarily theatrical when he reads the words out that he's hearing.
Theatrical is a perfect word, yeah.
He's not faking it. He's not making up words, but he's making it entertaining. He's giving the word, he's creating some, and that's not a lie. It's not, but it's, so if that bothers you because he's not sitting there being monotone and boring, well, then you're just, I can't argue with you. You're not making any sense. I don't know what color the sky is in your world at that point. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't understand what it is that people are doing. It's like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think there's a lot of people, that people are just so set in all their ways with this sort of belief system. But anyway, thank you for sharing that, like how you go about it and where you come from, because it really helps. I want to get into the Hollow. Before I do, though, we talk about that. I want to really get to our core question, because it's a perfect time for it, which is this. From all your investigations, all of your experiences, the way you approach things, from the data you've gathered, from the feelings you get, what do you think spirits are?
Well, honestly, I come at it from a different perspective, because not only do I do paranormal investigation, but I also sit on an exorcist team.
What?
Yeah, I do. I do. I sit on an exorcist.
What? So wait, all right, let's go. Let's hear it. No, go ahead, finish.
I buried the plot, Gary.
Yeah, let's hear it. Like, I want to know. All right. Exorcist. I'm sort of getting to. I think I know where you're going with what you think spirits are, but let's go. Let's hear it.
So no. So actually, believe it or not, it goes back to what I was saying before. I think spirits are multifaceted, and I can't say they're one thing or another, because I have seen so much crap, and I don't mean it like they're crap, but I have seen so many different types of things that for me to say a spirit is displaced energy, a spirit is a soul that's walking this earth, without a place to go, a spirit is an elemental, a spirit is an alien, a spirit, I can't say, because I've seen so many different ones that all of them could possibly be true at the same time. So so like I've seen things that have been residual, that I said, okay, so what's the difference between a residual and a time slip? Well, then you start, go down that rabbit hole.
All right, but listen, all right, but I'm calling you out. That's a little bit of a cop-out answer, because you're sort of like giving me, it's everything. But when you walk in and you feel something, there's an instinct for you There has to be. I refuse to believe that you're not like, am I talking to someone who was on Earth once and is no longer on Earth? You know what I mean? Regardless of what you think, whether it's a residual or from another time, what is your instinct telling you? I mean, this is something you do now for a living.
Right.
What is it that
And
you? What is that? What is that first gut reaction of an experience? What do you think you're dealing with?
that I'm sharing a space with a sentient being.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right.
I'm sharing a space with a sentient being. That
And
and just like in I'm sorry, go on.
no, no, and all right, I want to break it down because I like that. So there's a sentient being there, and for you right now, it's still all the investigation is it trying to figure out what that sentient being was. I mean,
Correct.
sometimes you've literally gotten a name, right? Like Mimi, right? You
Yep.
said who
Right.
was
Yep.
so in that case, Mimi might have been that might have been her from back then. Now she's here. How do you think she
And now
got
she
here to be with to
How do
call
I
that
think
out?
she got here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That listen, man, if I could bottle that, I'd be a millionaire.
Yeah,
But
there's
it's
no
like
wrong answer though. There's no wrong answer, Karen. It's just like what is and it's okay to be just have a broad theory of it, but like we all think it's something, right? Like what do you think? How did Mimi get there? Like what is it? What was it about her specifically? Like
I honestly think there is something there that is comforting, or on the other aspect there is something there that needs to be either resolved, or depending on the because it is a sentient being that's vengeful, that has purpose for being there. So if, for example, what we're talking about, me Minnie, that was her place where she would go and she would gossip and she would, or whatever. And that is like the world to, of that time, of, a woman that would go get her hair done and gossip with the old ladies. Like that was her space, you know?
mhm.
So, so that has meaning for her, and it had her purpose. Some of the other places that I go to, again, the intent, it's a sentient being. What's its intent for being there? Is it there to be adored? Is it there to relive its memory? Is it there to cause harm? Is it there to protect? And that becomes, it's how it got there. There's something there luring it there.
Okay. One of our watchers is curious about what is a time slip?
Oh, a time slip. So a time slip means it's almost like if you've ever seen, like,
Let's
for
put
lack
that
of a
back up.
better word, if you ever seen like Marvel Universe or whatever, and they have
Hmm.
two different timelines going on at the same time. So,
So she's talking quantum physics.
yeah,
One timeline
is
leads into
to
another
another
timeline.
timeline. So, like, for example, let's say I'm in a speakeasy, and which I've done a bunch of times, and I've done investigations in a speakeasy, right? And the I'm doing an investigation, and I'm hearing what would be considered residual of like a poker game, right? So now it's almost like, is it two timelines happening at the same time, and I become a voyeur on their plane, and I'm watching them play out what they're doing in real time.
I've heard investigators or parapsychologists refer to that. That's what they would probably call like a haunting. An imprint, just something that's
Right.
they would define a haunting as just something that's stuck there. It's in a loop. You're watching it. It's always going to be there. It's in whatever that goes through.
The old stone tape theory.
Yes, the stone tape theory. Um,
Yes.
what about you, Gail? What do you think a spirit is?
Uh, I think when you go into a place, I think the first thing you have to do is figure out whether you're dealing with a human spirit who, for whatever reason, decided not to go into the light. Perhaps they felt like they had things to do. Perhaps they were afraid of what might be in the next plane, so they turned away from the light. Um, Whatever reason, they decided to stick around. Or is it an elemental, something that's been here since time immemorial, something that's as old as and ancient as time, and something that we can barely comprehend? Um, is it a poltergeist in its purest form? Not like the movie Poltergeist, but poltergeist is actually, it translates to noisy ghost, but poltergeist activity isn't actually a spirit. It is energy that
Manifested.
is given
Right.
off by usually prepubescent women, girls who are maybe
It's
going into
we
womanhood.
created it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right.
It's not a spirit.
I'm
something
not totally clueless,
created.
guys. I'm a nude, but I'm not
I
totally
know.
clueless. I know some shit.
So, well, I'm used to explain. This is the lecturer in me.
I appreciate it.
So,
No.
first I want to figure out what it is, and then my thing is I want to keep trying to build a better piece of equipment so I can make whatever this is quantifiable and prove the existence of it. So I'll keep trying to build a better mousetrap.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for answering that. All right. God, wow, this hour's flying by. Let's talk about the Hollow.
That's all you.
Walk me through. Let's tell the good people what it is, where it is, your love for this, combining horror with paranormal. This whole event is huge. We got Big John Sand is going to be out there next Saturday to speak. Tell us all about it. Give us the history of the Hollow.
It's going to be so cool.
It is going to be so cool. So this is our third year doing it, but this is the first year we're doing it on such a grand scale because every year it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So the first year it was just like, up beyond the veil bazaar. Like it was very small. Then the next year we did it and we added the horror film because there was such a call and bleed through for people to do, to have both of them like together, so I was like, okay, let's do that. And
They go together like peanut butter and jelly, really.
yeah, I mean, like who doesn't like The Exorcist? It's paranormal, it's horror.
Sure.
Poltergeist, paranormal, it's horror. So so we did that. And so this year we were like, listen, let's take the wheels off and see what we can do. So we did, and we decided that location was going to be key. So it's in the Pine Barrens at Stockton University. And we pulled out all the stops. We have built a very small haunted attraction within it. We have 3 stages going on at the same time of lectures. We have classroom A, which is more interactive and smaller, classroom B, which is bigger and more lecture style. And then we have the marketplace where actually all 90 we have over 90 vendors, but the vendors will be, and there will be a stage. And that's where John is going to be speaking because I wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to see John and and everything. So I put him right in the center of everything. So he will be there and in front of everybody. So we have that. Plus we have a theater that seats 250 people. We are going to be showing independent movies that were curated and judged on by a panel. And then after that's finished, after hours, we're going to
movies.
I'm sorry.
How many movies?
Oh gosh, I don't even know how many. It's like 4 hours worth, and then but they're shorts, so you'll be able to see in each block. You'll see 4 or 5.
It's a 250 seat theater.
Yeah,
full on theater.
Okay.
And then at the end, you will have the feature film, which is the Point Pleasant tapes. That is a found footage film about what happened for the Mothman in Point Pleasant, Virginia. So we will have meet and greets going on with the cast, or some of the Cafe Kids from Terrifier, with Michael C. Williams from the Blair Witch Project. He'll be there to talk about Blair Witch 2. We will have the people from Haunted Tri-State. We're going to have a panel of the people there that were on Haunted Tri-State. We are going to have we're going to actually have a carnival performer. The Pain Freak is going to be there, doing his routine with the Wheel of Pain. So, you could either, see him walk on glass, staple $1 to his butt. He's all about it.
That's great.
We've got
the Ouija Board Museum.
Board Museum coming. We've got lectures or a workshop on how to build your own REM pod.
Yep. Do it yourself REM pod. Yep. So how to build it, and you get
don't call it REM pod unless you want Gary to come after you.
How to make your own REM pod.
Build your own what is it? Motion sensor?
Yes, how
Right.
to build your own motion sensor.
Right.
And you get the equipment and everything with it. So it's
That's
yours to
cool.
take home.
That's fun.
Yep.
Like, isn't it great? Like most fairs, you'd have like make a friendship bracelet, or like here's some sand art, but it's for
Yep.
kids. But now
No,
it's like
space,
let's make
yeah.
our
Well, we have
own
that.
motion centers or a REM pod, and
Yeah.
ooh,
So
that's great.
We also have the people who are doing the small haunt that we're going to have inside will also be there to do makeup. So if you want
Yes.
to walk around with your face painted and spooky,
Yep.
there'll
We
be
have-
makeup for free.
We have the School of Special Effects and Makeup and Special Effects coming. So they will be talking about how to do makeup
Oh, that's
for
fun.
anyone that anyone's into filming or wants to do, production for movies or whatever, how to use the prosthetics, how to care for them, how to take them off, how to put them on,
And we have food trucks. If you're hungry, we're going to have food trucks outside.
Yep. So,
I love it.
oh yeah,
And
look
this
up
is
the Main
this
Street
is it.
person.
This is the hollow-nj.com, correct?
Yes, the hollow-nj.com. Mm-hmm.
That NJ is
Yeah.
for New Jersey, y'all. If you haven't figured that out,
Yes.
the Hollow, THEHOLLOW-NJ.com. That you can go right now to the link tree in my bio, and you can get your tickets if you are in the area. This is next Saturday, August 22nd. Did I get that right? Saturday, August 22nd.
Yep. August 22nd.
John's going to be. There's a lot of great guests. And there are a lot of people that we've had on the show, which is great. Did I see like Haley Michelle, right? Paranormal Princess,
Yep.
going to be up there.
Haley Michelle is going to be there.
Did I
Yep.
see James
Michelle
Anito?
Bellanchet is going to do a remote lecture.
Yep. Michelle Bellanchet is going to do, so
Very
it's
nice.
going to be. Yep.
Did I see it? Is it James Anito's going to be there? Is that true? No.
James
Yes.
Anito, Daryl Marston, Krista Cesare, Dave Giuliano. So they're all gonna, be there. The
Well,
world
We'll be doing a
Titans.
tour through the Palm Barrens.
It's
Yep.
great.
We are doing. Yeah, you're gonna go on an investigative tour through the Pine Barrens. So
Oh,
yep.
very fun, guys. You should check it out. And where does everybody find you? The both of you, Cara and Gail. Like, what is it? Just at 9 Lives Paranormal on all socials.
At 9 Lives Paranormal on all the socials. 9livesparanormal.com is our website. But yeah, and our Gmail, if you want to reach out to us, it's 9livesparanormal@gmail.com. Can't get any simpler than that.
I love that, by the way. Do you know how many times I got to tell you? And listen, I love all our guests, but some of them have a different handle for every single thing, and it's and it's like it's completely impossible. I'm like, guys, I'm so sorry. Just you got to give me the one thing. I can't. Like no one's gonna remember 14 different things. Like, and you should have looked this up when you picked your name, because you'd find a name that you can have it on every platform. That's a little marketing
Once
tip
you
for
get
everybody out
past
there starting a paranormal team. Look online first. See if the name is taken. If it is, don't select it.
Don't use
Don't
it.
use it.
Don't use it. Pick a name that you can own exactly the same on every platform. If you can't do that, pick a different name. I don't care how much you love it. It's annoying to everyone. We hate you when you do that. But secretly,
Well,
we're talking about you behind your back.
Once you get past a certain age, you've got to simplify it or you won't remember.
Yeah.
That's right.
I saw somebody said, will it be broadcast? Haley Michelle is going to broadcast. Any of the people there are welcome to broadcast. When I get there, and I hate to do this, when I get there the day before, I will send out a blast if I can broadcast everything. Because it's the IT department more than it's anybody's willingness not to have it or unwillingness to have it broadcast. It's what they're capable
But
of.
you gotta charge.
Everybody knows.
You gotta
When-
charge people for that. Don't give out that shit for free. That's just like if you're charge. You gotta. I'm sorry. Listen, I know your people are like, Gary, what are you doing? This is my chance. I'm like, I'm not saying they have to charge a lot, guys, but they shouldn't be handing it out. This is an event. You know how much work goes into putting on a Paracon of this magnitude?
It's been
And they're just gonna.
oh my God, I've been doing it a year.
And you think they just you just want to like, oh, can you just hold up your phone for 10 hours so I can watch the whole thing? The answer is no,
People
not
will.
for free.
Okay, really quick too.
Charge
If
people.
you when you sign up for your ticket, you're going to get access to an app. You sign into that app, and it is going to give you in real time where the lectures are happening, where the workshops are happening, what films are playing. It will also give you information on every single vendor. And this application will stay live for 9 months after the Hollow is long gone. So if there was someone that you liked, if there was a vendor that you wanted to go see, a brick and mortar, all you got to do is pull it up, and all their information is going to be on there.
All right. I've just added 9livesparanormal.com to the link tree as well. I'm sure they can
Cool.
link to all of their socials from there. Cara, Gail, thank you so much for tonight. I appreciate your time. I wish you the best, a smooth Hollow next week.
Thank you.
And although, I do hope you get some, unexpected paranormal visitors, because that'll make it super cool. I mean,
That
you
would
want
make it.
you want some of those. You want those things, but you want the
Yeah, we
event to
do.
be smooth. You want everything to work there. But those haunts, I hope you get some real great shit. It was such a pleasure to meet you face to face, and I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much.
I would love it if both of you, much like all of our people in the audience, to take our Are You a Ghost Magnet survey on our website. Go to Splintered
I'd love
Spirits.
to.
Go to splinteredspirits.com/survey and take it. It is this is a real thing. You can find it anywhere. There's a little tab for it. If you're on your phone, you can do it. It takes you 5 minutes. You can do it from the website. A lot of fun, and it is a real study that we're trying to put together here. It will be published. I'm going to be a published parapsychologist if I get some stuff.
Yay!
Legit. So thank you for that. Everyone out there, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank our guests. Please go and give them a follow and go to the Hollow. Oh, I got to end on that rhyme. I have to end on the rhyme.
You have to.
Everybody, thank you so much. I appreciate everyone's time here today. And we will see you live in 2 weeks. But again, next week, new episode where I walk through the Omen House. And we are replacing our live with a very special thing about this paranormal nonsense of bullying that's happening. So with some 3 great guests. So check that out. Everyone, Cara, Gail, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for another episode of Splintered Spirits. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, stay curious.